city.
Yeah. That was it, the way I cried.
1 minute
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Now I don't have the,
I know.
then I come here and everything's a rush. I wanted to go down and talk to Laurie on a few issues and stuff like that before I get too.
Dive into something
Yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
We
So-
ready? See you're standing?
Yes.
Okay, let's start the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody to the work session, November 4th, 9:30 a.m., starting right on time here. Ask the Secretary Treasurer to do the roll
Yep.
call, please.
Scott Horowitz.
Present.
Ed Warner, present. Richard T. Marin,
Right.
present. Joe McLaughlin. Here. Matt Parsons.
All right. All right, buddy. Thank you very, very much. All right, we've got some discussions on. I wanted to put Carter Creek on since we are entering a dredge window period of time that we are allowed to dredge. We also are in need of having to repair that brush jetty again. And I had Tim Wilson go down our maintenance, and he said it's getting very, very narrow in the area. And I think that we should take advantage of our maintenance dredge permit prior to resurrecting the brush jetty. Get it cleaned out, get it scooped out, get that beach fortified. That's where the dredge spoil site is, and get it kind of ready to go for the next.
Okay.
I think we haven't done it in about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, the last time we did it, I believe the material went on the rock revetment by
It did.
Willow Shade and
That's right.
along the beach there. It was a good nourishment project. I've also contacted Tim, and because I've contacted several people with large stands of bamboo
Okay.
that they would gladly have us go in and cut down and take out and make brush jetty out of it. I think it's a good brush, would make a good material because it would last a long time. It's very rigid, and we can wrap it up real tight and make it like a solid, more solid of a jetty than with the brush that needs to be replaced. Like,
Well, if you recall, I've done that. We've done that before. Because remember,
Yeah.
I had a large stand over in the Pine Neck
Yeah,
Landing
yeah.
brush jetties, and we utilized that,
Yep.
and it did work out well. Because to your point, you could pack it real tight, get
Yep.
it prepared, and then put it in, and then pack it down. So, and I think it makes sense because you have to come in down Willow Shade. You got to
Yeah.
get down that beach.
Yeah.
You have to take out part of the brush jetty to get, so you can reach there with the machine.
Yep.
Pull it back, build up the beach, and then put it back together again. And we have the maintenance dredge, and
You may as well use it because
Do it.
it's a 10 years, so
Do
we're
it.
probably 5
Yeah,
years
so-
into it.
so I think we put a resolution on and get that done.
No, I'm definitely in favor of it.
Get that done, you guys.
Yeah, whack it while you got the permit.
Yep. Next discussion, then it would be the Mill Pond fish habitats.
Yeah, let's not drag this one out too much because we've got a lot more information on Mill Pond. So
Right.
We'll save that for executive. But as far as the fish habitats, we've been talking with Tim. You and I spoke of trees and the snow fencing. I guess James said that the plovers want the old
They
snow fence to
recycle it, yeah.
Recycle it. So let's address some kind of fish habitat because we did just put 33,000 sunnies in that
Yeah.
pond as nest raiders.
How much of the basically the lily pads were removed? Do you know if they were totally removed, or
We
is
didn't
this-
do that this year.
we didn't do that? So there's a whole habitat for them to hide in temporarily, but once the winter comes, that's all going to die off. So we're going to
And
need.
so it kind of there was not as much in there, and then when they're doing the electro tagging, it kind of like beat them up pretty good. So
Okay.
we got to address something to put in there. They have you can purchase fish habitats. I don't know if we want to put that expenditure towards
Well,
it, but
we
Christmas
need
trees is ideal.
we need a good pruning down at Little Neck, the launching ramp, the airplane
Yeah.
ramp. It would probably be a substantial maybe 2 pickup truck loads of shrubbery,
Yeah.
which we could band together and put some
Cinder
mushroom
blocks on
anchors
it or
in there
something, yeah.
and sink it for. And once it becomes waterlogged, it'll just go to the bottom and it'll be there for many, many years because it's fresh water.
Yeah.
So there's no worms or anything that would eat it up. So it would be good habitat.
Yeah, there is no habitat in that pond, so it would be nice
Yep.
for something.
Yep. So yeah.
Let's go ahead with that. Talk to Tim. A couple of cedars and stuff like that.
Yep.
Would be a good idea.
Okay.
All right.
James,
James, do you have any
any
input on
ideas?
I reached out to the DEC, see if they have any, like, permits that they have to get for that, so.
You did.
I mean, I don't, fencing I wouldn't recommend with metal wire, stuff like that.
You ever heard back from the state?
I haven't heard back.
So we'll.
We'll
keep moving
address
forward.
that.
Yeah, we'll keep moving
Yeah.
forward. All right, so you good?
Yeah.
So Trustee Parsons, erosion at Long Neck Boulevard in
Yeah.
Flanders, that's an ongoing issue.
James, if you could pull up Oaks Avenue or Goose Creek, that whole section there, if you can take a look at what it is now, I'm sure most people here are familiar, but if you could go back maybe like 30, 40 years and see how that opening to
30 years.
Goose Creek has changed. It's really, it used to be a lot more sand there, providing a lot more protection. And bit by bit, all that sand is gone. And now, I mean, it's on high tides. The roads over on the left side there are getting inundated. And that's just without wind. Factor in like a hard east, and you're going to have little rollers going all the way up onto Long Neck Boulevard there. I understand that this is kind of an interface between our jurisdiction and the DEC's. I'd like it if we could try to put some brain power to this and figure out if there's any sort of way we could protect some of that property in a way.
What about the oyster reefs that were like?
I'd be all for it. I'd be all for even like some sort of rock revetment or some sort of spoil site or just something.
Well, where are you talking about putting this project? Because
That's a good question. I don't know.
because the original channel came in from the
North,
north,
yeah.
which it was bulkheaded and dredged in the 60s by the county,
Mhm.
and that whole eastern facing shore was all meadow, and now that's the only access channel to that creek.
Yeah, and I would love to see, it digging out another channel north-south and putting the spoils across on the eastern
Well, you can't
side there.
put spoils in water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
that's-
also probably can't move it around.
No, I mean that wouldn't last 2 seconds there
Right.
because it's the
Mhm.
elevation. I mean, I spent a lot of time up there. The elevation originally was probably, like 2 feet above a normal high tide. Now it's only shows at low tide,
Mhm.
and a northeasterly wind. I mean, whatever you put there is just going to get washed away because I mean, people had oyster gear there that washed up on the beach from northeasters. That's how rough and the amount of current that's there. It's a really it's that beach was almost like a sacrificial, like a barrier beach, similar to what we have over on the ocean. And over time, it's without any continued dredging and beach nourishment, when it was high enough for the material to be accepted, it's just basically fanned out and dropped the elevation. I mean, I tried dealing with it 10, 15 years ago, and it was much better shape than it is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at low tide. There's a channel there that you can navigate in and out.
Mhm.
That's how much. And 20 years ago, it was all bog and wetlands.
Once you lose the bog, it's
Well, the only thing that's left of the bog is very little, tiny pieces of it. There's no continual bog there anymore, like it originally was. That bog was there, and it was at low tide. It'd be 3 feet out of the water with grass on it. Now that bog, from all the northeasterly winds, has completely gotten destroyed, and any ice and ice sheathing cuts it off too. But the easterly winds that we've had in the last 10 years has just decimated this whole shoreline.
Is any sort of like a rock breakwater a possibility?
Well, it would, I mean, I don't ever see the DEC allowing us to be placing rocks in the intertidal zone. I mean, that's been any filling of the intertidal zone they've been against. And placing a rock revetment, which would be 80% of the time underwater, would be very dangerous.
What if you just went above?
Well, then you would have, then it would be a major project. I mean, cost-wise, you're probably looking at, to put rocks along there for 500 or 600 feet, probably a few $100,000. Or more, yeah. I mean, I would send an email to the DEC, their habitat unit, and see if it's something that maybe they would, have a discussion with us,
Right.
and maybe, because if they're not gonna permit it, and why should we go through all this painstaking, time to, do something?
There's been a lot of discussion about this. The highway department, we really should, because you got road ends down here. You got town road ends. They've been engaged in this. The county, we had conversations. There's been a lot of conversation about this, even with the permitting. So I know that whether citizens are concerned about it, as we're all concerned, because like almost every road end in the town is suffering from the sea level rise issues and the fact that the weather patterns have changed and we're getting beat up all over the place. Solution-wise, reasonably, it's very difficult. But we can continue to talk about it. I think what you would get the benefit of is some of the institutional knowledge of the conversations and all the research that's already been done and been,
I would have a conversation with one of the consultants that do like living shorelines and stuff like that, something that would be work in this area, possibly work in this area, and bring them into a conversation, just a light conversation to see what their thoughts would be, because I know they have contacts with the DEC, and I believe there's a consultant in the audience, Mr. Chichunian, that would, maybe give us a little bit of just a quick speech about. I mean, I'm going to take full advantage of you because you're here.
well, you've done it before.
Yeah.
Whatever. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I was just asking James to pan over to Indian Island. We designed in conjunction with D&B Engineering, a living shoreline right at the end of Indian Island, where there were
The county park. Yep.
the county park.
Yep.
And it's in the same body of water. It's just that the aerial photos for Southampton cut off right there. But I would encourage the board, and I'd be happy to take you out there and show you the project.
I'm
And,
familiar with that project. Very familiar
yeah,
with it.
it's working really well. Been
Yeah.
in place for over a year.
Yeah.
And, it's doing all the things they wanted. This is a perfect kind of setting for that. And the best way to start is what you said. Sit down with the DEC, lay out the alternatives, and see if they're ready to get on board.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What is your shoreline, like what's the components, so what is it made of?
It's got a rock sill breakwater. Then we did some sand fill behind that, and then planted part of that sand fill with spartina. And then behind that is a sand dune, which is planted with beach grass.
Is that the sort of thing, did you, looking at that spot I was just showing there?
I haven't been at this site in a long time, so I would want to go look at it, but those elements will work in a lot of different settings.
You have a good elevation at Indian Park. There's no
Yeah.
elevation here.
It comes-
That's
It's
Yeah.
10 or 12. Here it's about, what, 5?
Well, there's a lot
no,
more
we're
fat-
probably
Less.
there's
four.
a lot more
Yeah,
fat
less than
counting
that.
on this
But-
one, too.
But we got the conversation going, and like I said, that you're gonna have to ask the DEC, and what will you allow us, or what will you allow the community to do here? I mean, I know after Sandy, the philosophy in this area was basically retreat, basically to buy the houses up, make them green fields, and or elevate them. So, we're looking to do a project to slow down that transition of water and wave action to the community.
Right. And at the end of the street, we should call and have a conversation with the highway department too, because they're working on it.
Yeah.
But I'd be happy to sit with Trustee Parsons and list out some, because the DEC really likes to see a matrix. They want to see, here are the 4 solutions, 4 alternatives, here why one works and one doesn't. They want to see that.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'll be in
Sam.
touch.
All right, let's move right into the journal permit applications for determination. I got land use here for 20 Tarpon Road. How are you?
Good morning.
So you want to do your 75 linear feet of existing bulkhead, your final sheeting, a couple of 6-foot returns, get rid of the step-down box. You want to do 5 foot of walkway, landward of the bulkhead, and you want to do 5 foot wide area planted with beach grass, 12 inches on center. So you're going to do 10 foot total, including the walkway and the buffer. 4 foot wide gravel path is proposed from the existing brick walk to the bulkhead for access. All non-treated. At the site in place.
Yeah, right now, behind the bulkhead, there's a deck and with some planted box areas of natural vegetation, so this will make it more uniform. And I'll have a grass buffer along the whole length of the bulkhead.
Elevation wise,
Same.
elevation. The Cox Shores area.
Does that walkway go directly to the decking?
Which walkway? The brick walkway?
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna go, now it does, but it's gonna go to the edge of the 10-foot buffer, and then it's gonna be, gravel. It'll go to the, yes,
Okay.
to the 5 foot,
You good?
Yeah.
It's meeting the blue book, right, James? I think it's reasonable.
Well, it looks like it's really cleaning and we're getting rid of some decking, putting some more vegetation. I think it looks like a good project.
It is a good project.
okay.
We're all set. We'll advance that. You got stamped
Yeah, I believe we do.
plans?
Yes,
Yes.
you should.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
Only one, Scott?
That's it, buddy.
Yep. Okay, we have 11 Lighthouse Road, Hampton Bays,
That's environmental permits.
enviro permits, Mr. Clay Cofield. We had some questions about the dock. I asked the board to go down there and look at the site. We had permitted a very similar project right next door. They're looking to mirror what the other project was. On my notes from the last meeting about the installation of a 5 by 100 foot boardwalk land of the bulkhead, I know we're trying to cut back some of these very long, extensive boardwalks behind the bulkheads and have vegetated areas there. Any of the people that looked at the site have any comments? I know there was some questions before, so.
I think it's fine. I looked at the site, I looked at the seagrass there. I looked at the, ability for pass and repass down the beach. I think it's, if you're consistent with what's there, I think that you'll be,
Yeah, the neighboring dock, you can see we just permitted it.
I think you'll be fine.
And then prior to that, there were several other docks that were either during my first couple of years of tenure on the board or prior to that, so it would be consistent to what we have permitted there in
right,
the past.
built with all the recommendations and specs from the board
Yep.
relative to through flow decking or,
Absolutely.
with respect
Yep.
to submerged aquatic vegetation and utilizing of proper materials, with respect to pass and repass. I think it's fine.
Now, how about the elevating the bulkhead 18 inches? Is that consistent with what the neighbor has? I mean, I'm trying,
His is almost there,
almost, I know it was a
so be
little,
consistent with the neighbor.
yeah, I mean, that's what we've been trying to do is, the newest bulkhead that has been placed there, that would be the neighbor to the north, to be consistent with that would be, okay, same height.
Same.
But the 5 by 100 foot boardwalk, I mean, I would like to see that cut back. I mean, you have access to the dock, you can put maybe a 20 foot or 30 foot, 5 by 30 foot to put some storage, kayaks and stuff like that. But the whole 100 feet, I think, is an excessive amount of boardwalk. and putting some vegetation there, I think would be a good environmental move.
What would you recommend?
I know in the past, like 20 or 30 feet. I mean, if you go to 20 feet, that would be cutting it to 1/5, or 30 feet would be cutting it in third, which would give you the ability to, put a kayak there, and, and being that it's elevated, it's not going to wash away. So, I mean, what would be a good number? 25, 30? 20?
Probably close, not 50, but under 50. We would have to match up with what we plan to do, and the walkway, and the existing stairs that we don't want to take out.
So, I mean, what would...
So what are you talking about, along the bulkhead?
Yeah,
this
along
way?
the bulkhead,
Yeah, along
yes.
the bulkhead.
Just going that way, the bulkhead. So
Yeah.
You basically want to get a jog from where the stairs are to the.
Yeah.
what do you need? What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need, Clay?
I would say 40 feet.
You need 40 feet? Is your client happy with 40 feet?
He will be.
Yeah, that would be less than half,
less
and
than
that
half.
would accommodate the stairs to the beach, where
And
you would
storage of a kayak. on
kayak,
top.
and then you would have coming off, because this dock is not attached to the bulkhead. There's a space between the two for public pass and repass. So
Right.
basically down the stairs and
Then back up.
then up,
Back up.
back
Yeah,
up.
so yeah, there's no issue with the pass and repass if done
Nope.
this way. And with the through flow.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Graded vinyl decking is what you're gonna do. You're gonna have a safety ladder at the end.
Yes.
And I think it's a reasonable balance and meets the Blue Book regulations.
And just give us some on the other 60 feet of what are you going to plant there? Cape American beach grass.
Probably just beach grass, yeah.
Can you
It
just
seems to last
give us a
very well.
schematic of that on the plans?
Yes.
So we have that taking just 40 feet of boardwalk and the beach grass.
Okay.
You also, there's no proposed buffer after the 5 feet.
Okay, so we
So
would.
you guys,
Yep.
We just got
should
5
ask for
yards.
10, so.
So you want
So you've just got clean fill, right? You're
Just
gonna
clean
do,
fill.
you're
Yeah.
gonna do clean fill as your buffer beyond the
5 feet.
5 feet. So you're gonna have sand there.
With the installation of the new bulkhead, there will be some
Yeah, but
disturbance, but that will be all.
but the
rectified.
the 5 by 40 foot boardwalk behind there, what's going to be the last 5 feet landward of that? Just regular sand and gravel or
No,
grass?
just grass. Continue with the grass up until the fence.
The Cape American beach grass.
Yes.
Okay,
Make it easy.
so
Right,
give
so
us
you-
plans showing that,
Okay.
right, James?
And the 10 feet,
And-
10 by 40.
10 by 60. Yep, in the 10 by 60 area, what's going to be planted there also? The other,
It'll be the American beach grass.
it's all going to be
Everything will be American beach
Yeah,
grass
it
to make it
just has to
just
show it
very
on-
simple.
shown on the plans
Shown on the plan.
Yep.
And written on.
and written on the
And we-
description of work. And we would need stamp plans for this too,
Yes,
right,
I
Jim?
have.
You have
Okay.
it?
I don't have it now, but I.
No,
have
no,
it.
no, but we're finishing up the
Yes.
process,
We'll
yeah.
have it in a week or so.
Okay,
You want to
so we good then, James?
advance it?
Thank you, Clay.
Thank
That's
you.
yours, right? Just advance it pending your plans. You're good.
Advancing,
Thank you all.
I would advance it pending,
Yeah.
receipt of his plans. Just advance
Yep.
it.
Make sure you vote.
Easy,
Did mine already?
easy, easy.
FCC laws, we can't talk about
No,
politics.
they didn't vote though.
Don't want to get us in trouble.
All right, so that's advancing. Now you got no hotel?
No hotel, 16 Penny Lane.
No hotel. Where are we gonna stay if there's no hotel?
it's confusing.
No.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Morning, Brian.
Good morning. Congratulations on recent accomplishments.
Oh, yeah,
That's
thanks.
awesome.
It's good to be on sound financial ground. You got such a big responsibility here.
I've been waiting a long time for that.
Yeah. I had a lot less gray hair. A lot more hair.
I think you were 4 inches tall.
I was taller too.
No comment.
Yeah, no need.
All right. At the last work session, we had a lengthy discussion about this project and the floats, the water depths, and there's some suggestions made, and I think you've come back with some of those suggestions incorporated in your new proposal. So you want to go over it?
Yeah, sure. I know that in the original design concern that you had, which is actually great for the client as well, that by pushing the lateral float out, we're shortening the space for boats.
Absolutely.
And we're at the point where the pilings that are there that already are permitted are at that 1/3 point. And then we would risk, by moving that out, we'd risk maybe, back of the boat hanging into the navigable channel. So the suggestion was to keep that tight to the bulkhead so that we maintain that length that's there and just dredge to get that depth.
Yeah, I think the dredging was really
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, it was great suggestion.
Way
So
better.
just,
It's clean.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better, way better for the whole project.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, much better. You get that much better project.
Yeah, so they're happy
Good.
to.
No, I think it turned out to
That's
be,
what we wanted to
through
do.
the
I mean,
discussion,
it works
I
for
think
everybody.
it turned out to be a really good project.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, absolutely.
and especially in this creek where as you get further north, it really narrows down considerably.
Right.
And there are some very large vessels in there because no one has a 15 or 20-foot boat. They have a 40 or 50-foot boat.
Right, and there is more activity there now. With the station, there's a lot more boat traffic
Yes.
getting all the way north.
Yes.
Plus the other property that I'm not sure what's going to be done with it. But the hotel was taking
That
that.
also keeps the creek open.
Flushing.
The more you have boats
Yeah.
moving in and
So-
out, the more.
Yep.
You got stamp plans?
No, not yet. We just wanted to make sure you guys like
That
the
looks
design.
neat. That looks
So
clean.
we'll-
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what we had asked for, just moving the whole stuff laterally landward towards the bulkhead and creating a deeper water space under the dock. So that, you accomplished what we had discussed. I think it's good to move forward, huh, James? Okay,
Appreciate it.
That's
right.
it.
thank you,
We
Brian.
need, we need plans, right? So
Yep.
we'll advance it pending
Yeah,
your
we'll
receipt.
get them done. Get them in.
Yeah, we'll get a resolution on.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. 140 Hayground.
All right. 140 Hayground is a replacement dock.
Yeah, it's in place, just with updated materials, correct?
We just got new soundings. The soundings bear out what was expected. The float says 2.5 feet of water. And it has to be built to Army Corps standards, so the dock extends landward 10 more feet. Because we're 4.5 feet up, we need a longer ramp. Short of that, it's a replacement, in place in kind.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. It's consistent.
Replacing.
It's 10 feet off the property line, so.
Yeah, it's pre-permitted. I really would like to get away from that, but it's already just a replacement, so.
Yep.
I think you're good.
All right. I got 3 more, guys.
Okay.
Next one is,
We
Stamp
need
plans.
plans on that one.
as soon as we clear some of the other stuff, we'll give you the stamp plans. We're in front of the DEC, the Army Corps, and the Department of State. I'll write myself a note.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna need.
As soon as I clear design on the other 3 regulatory.
So you don't wanna put this on for resolution yet, is what you're saying?
We
No.
can't get the.
Can't, we got it.
We had a stamp plan.
Yeah, no, I get it, but
I
he's
don't
not
wanna
pushing,
I don't
yeah.
wanna waste your time.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm just
or the
getting out of it here.
client's money.
Yeah.
The next one is 390 Fowler Lane. This is a Phragmites project.
So they look like a lot of nice upland stuff. Just make sure this is hand cut and not. There's a lot of native species there.
This is in front of Marty Shea. It's gonna take a year to get a permit.
Yeah.
However, we've had some pretty good success with these projects.
I know you have.
And the Phragmites is growing further and further into Jewel Pond. And I think Marty Shea will be very careful about what he permits there. But we would like to do the selective cutting and probably 5-year project, so we'll be back in front of the Board of Trustees multiple times.
But you-
So
you got a
you're,
lot of
once the
experience.
project is started, you're gonna have a 4-year maintenance going forward to see how the natural species
The
live in it.
DEC permit generally is 5 years.
Okay,
Marty Shea's permit's generally 3 years. We usually renew them. And some projects we go back. The first one I did on Mohawk Lake is still ongoing. And it's probably 20 years
Okay.
later. That
So
was a-
are we able to advance this pending when Marty's office okays it? Or
This
just
one,
to
I
get it
think,
out of the,
this one I think you can.
it's out of his jurisdiction.
We don't need
Yeah, we-
engineer
we-
plans.
yeah, we don't need Marty.
We're
on
doing
the
our
ground.
jurisdiction, yeah, he's doing his.
The Phragmites is from the high water line down.
Yeah, that looked
Above,
like
above
most
that, there's
yeah.
a bunch of nice stuff.
nice native stuff.
that we won't be working in that area. And those little ponds get choked really bad. So when we get the opportunity to spend somebody's money and clean up Phragmites, it's probably a good project for ducks and water flow and all the other stuff. So it's
Advance it.
kind of a nice project.
Well,
I'm
being,
Marty Shea.
being that we were on a
Good.
40-day
Yeah.
drought, maybe the water level will subside a little bit and
Feel a little
Phragmites,
saltier too, yeah.
yeah, that's, yeah.
Phragmites was growing pretty good when I went there.
We also need the Channel Pond project to be up and running, and
Yes.
so you get the flushing, so they're all connected there. So
That'll
one,
part of the equation.
yeah,
We need a
so-
lot of,
yeah.
lot of help over there.
Wanna whack out your last one?
You got a couple, let's see, you got 1108. And then you got,
Well, for me,
Yeah.
doesn't he have, yeah, 1108 's fine.
1108 is a short dock that goes to the edge of the Phragmites. and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's not a hindrance to
It's a
navigation. It's
little
not-
project,
yeah.
all the permits are issued. If the town advances it, we'll give you engineer plans.
So on our side of it,
Stops
it stops
at
kind of
the
right at the
Phragmites.
edge. It's practical. It's not a dock to nowhere.
It's not a dock to nowhere.
Okay.
James, you good?
44 first time?
Yep.
Okay. Stamp plans.
So advanced pending. So,
And then you have,
44 first time.
Last one I have is in Joe's neighborhood.
First time. It's a new application on the Agawam.
We've done these docks in Lake Agawam before. Last one I did was John Paulson. They extend 10 feet into the water. We put a little drop platform at the end so you can get into a kayak or a canoe and paddle board and wind your way. We will probably be a year in this process at the village. So the board doesn't need to hurry up on this, but I'd like your input on the design if you have any questions or issues. 10 feet into the water.
Does it disrupt the current buffer there? No.
The current buffer there is in good shape.
Okay.
Where is it on the property?
From the prior
I have that.
property owner,
They got plenty of time.
the buffer,
Right in the middle.
did you go there, Joe?
I haven't.
You
I
all
was
these
gonna go
handrails
this
in
week,
it?
So,
You can see it from the end of the
okay.
parking
it's a-
lot.
yeah. Yeah,
I
This
haven't
is-
been yet.
This is
Maybe
all
minimal in
vegetated buffer.
I would,
All of it.
yeah.
put that
It's
down.
got a nature path through it, and we
Okay.
access the skinniest part.
Okay.
I'm looking at, once the dock goes over the hump down to the pond, all those handrails, can we reduce them?
It depends on the board of trustees because, for what it's worth, we don't need a DEC permit. We
Okay.
don't need a Department of State permit, we don't need an Army
Can I
Corps
send this down there so
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
So
I mean,
we're not going to be at 4 foot 6 inches above grade.
okay,
We're gonna be 26 inches above grade.
which,
Your dad's dock design was low profile fixed pier catwalk. The pilings will cut off at 30 inches, no handrails. So you can have the same design. You should weigh in and decide if that's what you want, and
We'll
we'll
get rid of
adjust the
the
plan. It's unusual because we don't have the Army Corps specter
Yeah.
hanging over our heads.
I'm always for less material than more, so, I mean, reducing the handrails that are there would be
Better.
visually, aesthetically better.
So
Ditch
we're
the
gonna cut off
handrails.
the piles 30 inches above the low profile fixed pier. The the reason why it's nice to not have to go 4 foot 6 inches up is you don't need a longer ramp up and a long ramp down. It makes the dock much more manageable.
Yeah.
So we'll give you an adjusted design, and you can kick it around again. We're not gonna make it to, approval for a while.
Okay.
The village is,
So
the village takes a long time, Joe.
So
We'll hold it.
I'll talk to Chris Talbot and I'll also go down and take a look too.
You know, Chris Talbot's another concern. We may need some kind of handrail there. Maybe we'll have a rope.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's what
Well-
I would say.
Chris
Oh,
Talbot
something
is
simple.
back as the building inspector at the village. He's very easy to access and get
Yeah.
a read on, but
Yeah.
ultimately we'll have to file for a building permit there.
Okay,
and
All right.
he
I'll
will
talk to
have
Chris.
something, but
okay.
Let's hold it.
We'll hold it, yes, please.
Hold it, and I'm gonna try to do a rope handrail.
Okay, that would be good.
So then we have Suffolk Environmental for 16 Cove Road. Thank you.
Morning, board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me give you a rundown.
That would be helpful.
Okay, so I believe in 2022, you guys issued a permit for a dock, fixed dock over at this location, which contains 6x20 platform with a 4x30.2 foot long elevated catwalk. You guys advanced it. You guys voted on it, approved it, but the owner just never picked up the permit. So basically, it expired. So we're here to renew it or supersede it. The project remains identical to what you guys approved 2 years ago. That's it.
Well, since you took on the board, you guys think?
Give me an overhead on that. It's not extending into any.
No, it's in a little cove there where it's alcove.
What, and this, that's existing there, and then you're just kind of like,
Yeah, there's an existing dock there now.
then it was just never permitted.
I think it was actually permitted years and years ago.
But
They're looking to
Do we
make
know
it.
when or?
I'm gonna guess at least over 20 years ago, if not longer.
Well, it doesn't interfere with navigation
Yeah.
and it's a T on the end, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fixed platform instead, because we don't have the water depth.
Yeah, I remember the dock.
Okay.
I remember having multiple discussions. Remember this, Scott?
We good?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's new business.
We,
It's new business,
Yes.
not renewal, obviously.
yeah.
Just need stamp plans.
Yeah, I'll get you those. All right,
Harbor night for Captain's Night.
thanks.
Hello there.
Trustees.
Good morning.
I'm President Harlan.
Good morning.
So I did go down there, and it was it needs a desperate needed a replacement.
It was some type of
It was very
time frame to get down
very,
there.
very, very rickety for sure. But we did it, and it was quite the experience. But beautiful property. But it definitely needs to be replaced for sure.
Okay.
Do you have any plan to get rid of do any planting plan? I mean, I know there's a lot of money down there, but anything beyond just the replacement of the.
We're just doing the
Okay.
replacement of the pier that needs to be.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
no other.
Nothing
Planting,
else
okay.
except for that
Yeah.
floating dock and deck dock that I
Okay.
had them fill an application out for.
Okay.
Once this is approved, and I
Can
think,
you remove the jet ski language from the application?
yes, I have to, you want me to remove that, correct?
Yeah, because that's a separate application.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we could like leave it on and
We don't
carry
want
it
it-
over.
We don't want any confusion,
Okay,
because what happens is confusion, and then,
You gotta get this permit first.
right, okay, so I'll remove that, but in the meantime, the last plan I think I gave you had the ramp without handrails. And I updated it
With handrails.
Yeah.
with handrails.
So you have new ones here?
I have new ones here, but now I'm gonna have to get you new ones anyway, to remove the jet ski verbiage.
I was. I
Do you
mean,
want these?
do you want the jet ski float removed from the plans? I just was talking about the cover sheet.
you know,
Want it removed
I
from
I
the
would,
plans, And then
You-
she has to put them back on.
I thought I removed
I don't know. You know what it is? You got to have clarity because I think there's been some confusion in the past with people trying to argue the fact that their jet ski float was permitted when in fact it's
It's a
supposed to be a
separate
separate thing. And I
Yes.
want to
Right.
eliminate the potential
Confusion.
for misunderstandings or
Sure.
confusion because
Okay.
there's no shortage of any of that.
Okay, understood.
So
Unless you, on the character of work, you put a statement that jet ski float or lift will be a separate application, so that our new dock inspector goes down and looks at these
He's gonna know
docks,
that they're supposed to be
so
both.
there's some differential, because, right now, we're in the process of working with the building department and starting our dock inspection, so
Right.
it's from ground zero, so,
Okay.
want to be very clear.
well, yeah, and most clear as these properties changed hands and whatnot, and because people all of a sudden look at their permit, they go, "Oh, I'm allowed to have a jet ski here because it
Right.
says on my thing."
Right.
Yeah.
And then they do, and then they're going to get a summons, and then they're going to be arguing. And it's
Yeah.
going to, well, it says it here. No, and that's why my concern's always that it's very clear so that everybody understands
Okay.
what they
Yeah.
can have, what they can't have.
So take as per the trustees, remove the jet ski dock from the plans
And the cover sheet.
and the cover sheet.
Yep.
And then I can resubmit these plans when they submit the PWC lift application.
Yeah.
Is there concurrence from
Okay.
council on this clarification? Is there concurrence on that?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Treatment.
Yep.
Do you have time frame, a time frame for the jet ski application, or what's your, that?
That's
She
all
has to get
filled
this
out, ready to
permit
go.
first.
I just
Right.
need this
Okay.
permit first to
Okay.
move forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I'll get you the updated plans
okay.
that you need, and once you receive them and approve them, then.
Okay.
Okay.
You got another one, right?
I do have another one. Do you want to go over it now?
Yes, yeah, while you're here, let's do this. You ready? Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I have my plans over there, but I basically know what it is.
So you want to get your plans?
Sure. Thank you.
At 10 Cox Cove Road.
We're gonna hold that one until you guys. can-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'll get you the plans
Yep.
as soon as I can. Email or mail in?
Email's fine.
Thank you. Okay, yes, so this one, 10 Cox Cove Road, replacement of an existing pier structure that does have a ramp and floating dock. It is dilapidated, I'm sure trustee Parsons, you went and took a look.
I didn't walk out on it.
Okay, so we had to remove certain portions because it was deteriorating and we didn't want any,
Liability issues?
right, with timbers going in waters and all of
Sure.
that. So we removed what we could for the time being. We did submit a picture of what it does look like. Normally to then when it,
Do you want to do an in-kind replacement?
in-kind replacement, but we moved,
You made the
we
upland
made,
longer.
we brought it landward, not seaward. The extra 5 feet, because it was a 4x46. So it's 9 feet.
Shorter, longer.
You know the blue book, James?
And the float is in the adequate amount of water necessary.
And you don't want the walkway going longer upland?
As per my client, no, he didn't want it to go landward, unless you want me to speak with him and,
No, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of like thriving grasses there that he's tromping through to get to it, correct? If you look at this picture,
well, there's a path, there's a pathway.
there's a walk path. No, I understand. It's just,
Okay.
like, I don't know, it seems like all these projects, we've been like making the walkway be longer.
Well, if there's a dirt path there, it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get to your,
Right.
you got to get
Gotta
to there.
get
It's
to
not,
where
it's
you-
not super
Right.
wide.
I don't think those pictures give a good perspective of where the walkway is. That's a problem from an angle.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so that's all you have today, right?
that was it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for allowing me to bring
All
over
right.
them now.
Yep.
And those are stamp plans, so you
Yes, they are stamped,
Okay.
so that one moves forward.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
trustees.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Too. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I think we got First Coastal, right?
349 Dune Road.
349, Edward G. Kehoe.
Morning,
Morning, good morning.
Aaron Churchian, First Coastal West Hampton Beach, on behalf of Edward Kehoe. Edward Kehoe, on behalf of Edward Kehoe.
Good morning, Edward Kehoe. What have we got here today?
Okay,
Long catwalk.
we have a long catwalk on a right-of-way with a dock at the end. So I'll walk you through our plan. So this right-of-way is unusual in the sense that the owner specifically grants the right to a dock. And normally the rights-of-way just say access to the water, but this one actually says dock. And I know that the trustees have a one dock per lot rule, and I think that this project complies with that because what exists right now is not a dock, it's really a slip. And although you can dock a boat at a slip, it's not technically a dock. So hopefully everybody has this packet in front of them. So we have a really long gravel driveway, and the right-of-way runs adjacent to that. And so we need to cross a tidal marsh until we get to the driveway. Then from there, we're on the upland. And then there's an existing pier that runs out on the east side. And so we would stay within that, that pier right now to the end. And then we proposed, if you look on this page, it's got a better detail on it. We propose to extend that just a little bit and put a hinged ramp and then a float. We chose this configuration because it still allows access to the slip with about a 22-foot Boston Whaler type boat. So that is how we selected the outer end of the dock in order to, and we're docking obviously on the west side of the dock so that we don't cross over the property line.
That's one thing I was concerned about. Like, I'm still new to this. Like, we have a requirement of 10-foot distance from the property line, but it looks like that dock is right on the property line.
Yeah, well, it's in the right of way, and we're the DEC wants us to stay within our right of way for the
Yeah,
dock,
I don't think
structure
we're,
itself.
I mean, I personally would not approve the float. In kind, if what's existing there has been replaced, but the floater is just, we've got so many parameters as far as 10 foot within an adjacent property.
Is that your primary concern?
But yeah, my primary concern is that every other project that's come before this board is we're always like, you gotta be 10 foot away from the adjacent property, and this falls right into being right on the property line.
But the property that is to, James, you can pull up an aerial, the property that's to the east here has a dock, and it's actually on the other side of the property, so it doesn't, what we're asking for would not interfere with them in any way.
No, I understand, it's just been protocol of.
Yeah, it's our Blue Book. The Blue Book regulation is 10
Well,
foot.
I understand that, but I think the purpose of that is to make sure everybody has, access to the water. In this particular case, when you look at the facts, we're not impinging on them at all. And although I understand the rule, but
Yeah.
the purpose of the rule obviously is not to impinge on your neighbor.
And it's just, he wants his floater so he's not utilizing like batter boards and stuff like old school up against the pilings, or what?
Well, he's extending out because, that's it, to,
What's the water depth?
he's not using the,
It's good hydro.
Here, I got
yeah,
it.
it's deep, it's like 6 feet.
And because either way, you're gonna be docking and your boat's gonna be in front of one of the other neighbors, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just the nature of the east of a right of way,
Yes.
back in the day, no one cared. But now we have different clientele, like we have people that like to complain about that. So, I mean, this is where we're running into an issue.
That's true.
Okay, so, I'm sorry.
An issue that it's nice that your deed says that he has a right to dock, but dock's on our property. That homeowner didn't have the right to bind us to anything when he put that condition in the deed.
No, it binds the owner, it doesn't bind this board.
Well, but the point is that that's what you're trying to piggyback onto as well. My deed says I can do it. Nice, your deed can say that you also got the Brooklyn Bridge as part of the consideration, but
Do we
What
have
I'm
this?
trying to avoid is and I'm sure I will, a dispute with my neighbor. Because, if only one of us can have the dock, and my deed says that I can have the dock, so what Aram has been trying to do is work it so that both of us, we've reduced whatever size or whatever we can do so that we can not get adversarial. That's kind of what my
So
thinking
he has no
is.
dock.
Well, he currently has a dock.
Well, he has
He has a slip.
Or a slip, I'm sorry. So I'm sure Aram always corrects me, I use the wrong terms. But the purpose of all of this is to try to avoid exactly what you're all talking about.
Well, I understand. So he's gonna, you think, take precedence of the ones.
Yeah.
What's the distance between what's the width of this whole slip wall?
It's about 20 feet.
20 feet.
I gotta study this one.
Yeah, I'm
how
sure
wide is the-
everyone back in the day played nice in the sandbox.
Right.
And everybody's boats was an 18-foot flats boat.
Right.
It wasn't like everyone's going bigger and better and 10-foot each.
I gotta think
Didn't
about this.
really-
What is the width of the right
And
of
I
way?
think I think I can work. I think if my neighbor and I work together, we can figure this out. If you
Well,
guys
yeah, but you don't know how long that neighbor's gonna be there.
That's the
where we
million-dollar
run into
question.
issues.
Actually, if I could just get a little clarification, so
Yeah.
we're dealing with both 349 and 350. 349 is on the south side of Dune Road. 350 is on the north side. And 350 is the one that's actually was knocked down and is being rebuilt right now.
Yes.
Okay. And are you the
And
owner?
I live in 349.
You live in 349. And do you also own 350 then? And
No.
Okay, that's a separate individual
Yeah.
entirely. Okay.
Although I think Aram is representing both of us.
I did represent Mr. Shallop on the reconstruction of his house, yeah. And it's about 16 feet wide, this slip.
So it's enough for two little
Not for two.
Montauk's.
Yeah, right. Very tight.
Two
He's rubbing rails.
18-foot Montauk's, and you hope the wind doesn't blow snot. But now, as far as the floater, like I can't see the board approving a floater when we're just so adamant about this 10-foot.
Yeah.
I could see us allowing the in-kind reconstruction.
Well, are right now, the pier ends,
2.5,
can you show where that-
2.2 feet.
So we
wide.
want to go past where the pier ends in order to provide the separation distance for the current owner to continue to use the slip. So we're going out from the end, of about 40 feet from the end of the current, from the end
From
of
the
the
existing?
pier right there, yeah.
You mean 40 feet
Seaward.
seaward, including the floater?
So you're going, right, so you're right, I got you. So usually we stop at 2.5.
This is the fixed
Right,
dock,
in
right? So
terms-
you're replacing this.
It's going to
right
2.5
here with
right
the
there.
fixed dock.
You're gonna
Yeah,
get
it
2.5.
goes all the way up.
Well, we're just gonna platform that. We're not gonna.
How
I
long
thought
mess
you
with
said
the
it was
structure.
like 7.
So you're going over it.
Where's the dock going?
And then
What's this?
it'll
Where's the
end
dock?
here, then the ramp and
What are you
the
looking at?
Exactly.
The dock is gonna come right, this is the dock where this walkway that's there now, they're gonna go out from there.
How far, where's the,
So you're extending
Hang on a
what's
second.
there.
Yeah.
This is just a question from me.
I'm not looking at it here. I'm a little confused.
In terms of what's
It's going
existing,
out.
the neighbor already has.
It's going to, what's this number?
Is
You
there
guys are
any
better
way
than mine.
2.7,
perhaps
No,
you could
6,
be working
6.7.
with
So
that
normally we
homeowner,
stop at
your client,
2.5.
Yeah.
He's
to be able to
starting.
get the similar
Yeah, because he
relief
wants to
as
be able
part
to-
of the
but so-
structure
yeah.
already
That's
there.
normally not what we
We
do.
would have
No, we
an
don't.
agreement that
Stop
you can put an
at
addition or
2.5.
something
Yeah.
petition
On the
for
inner
that.
terminus.
Right.
Addition-
That's
Correct.
what we cited.
Yeah.
He's going way beyond it. So
So
he's violating this, he's violating this.
What he's trying to do is put a boat here and a boat
Right.
there, but
Right.
when you pull it back here where it should be, then you can only get
What
use
he's
it.
trying to do is
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
getting it on 2 points.
Yes, he is.
That's the
He
thing.
Like
doesn't
I
need
was
the
saying, the deed may say, Doc, we don't,
It doesn't obligate the board.
right, but I'm just saying, is there any way that the two neighbors could work together, modify the structure, stay within the concerns that the board has?
This is-
So,
an
so
issue.
modify the size of the slip, for example, is that what you're talking about?
And add, or add something to that area so that your client could get a dock, he could use that
Well, the problem
He's got
is,
the easement, he's got the easement to get there already,
yeah,
so.
he doesn't have the 10 foot on either side now, even as a right of way. He's only got a 6 foot right of way.
But I'm saying
That's
that,
6
but two
feet.
homeowners can, provided the board would look at the existing structure and a modification of it to give both of them kind of what they want within what's already there without work,
I gotta brainstorm on this one a bit.
How wide would that slip need to be to get two Montauk's in there?
Well, it's already wide enough for 2 Montauk's, but nobody who buys a 17-foot Montauk.
I own one. It's great.
I got a 50.
If everybody realized that the smaller the boat, the more you use it, you know. Like,
You don't need a crew.
I love that little boat.
Less expensive to fix too.
I'll buy that size.
So like something like 25 feet would be pretty comfortable?
Well, I mean, it's
What-
pushing it.
what are we talking about now?
They both have 25-foot boats. It's gonna be tight.
Well, look, if they're
It's about
trailer,
8 foot, it's about 8 foot.
if they're trailerable boats, it's 8.6.
Yeah, so
You're
that's what I
about
mean.
an 8.6 as a standard
Yeah.
for a
A
trailerable
25-foot
boat.
Steiger is 8.6, and that's an old school kind of two-thirds ratio, 1/3 ratio, and no boats that are modern with big outboards are that ratio anymore.
Well,
that went out in the 80s.
right, but
So-
if you're trying to accommodate trailerable boats,
Yeah.
right, and you're trying to accommodate 8.6, there are plenty of manufacturers that,
Yeah, but
understand.
he's saying it's 16 feet there, so 2 8.6 boats don't
No,
work.
but I mean, if we made, in other words, if we
Modify.
made the slip 25 feet wide,
Right, modify
or
the
20
slip.
feet wide, that would, I guess, do it.
Then you'd modify it, and
Then we'd be modifying the slip.
Yeah, that's kind of,
But that would mean that the neighbor would have to be really nice and say, you're gonna spend all that money to move his pier over.
Right.
Correct? Is
Correct.
that kind of like what we're looking at?
Yeah.
And then that's, well,
That's a big
it's
question
probably,
mark, yeah.
Mr. Salop is a very reasonable man. We'll certainly have we actually reached out to him already.
it's probably a better project.
I love the fact that you want access to the water. You have a right of way. I'm on board with that. I get it. We're stuck on this 10-foot rule.
Yeah.
We really are.
You have a couple of things though. Realistically, if you want to get stuck on rules, because we generally cite the interterminus at 2.5,
So you
Yeah.
couldn't
and you're
even-
citing an interterminus at substantially
No, I
greater.
was listening to you fellas. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're if you want to get
Yeah,
stuck
yeah.
on rules, you're
Yeah.
violative all over the
It's
place here.
16
So it's
feet,
like
so
you got to figure out
you need a
how
boat
you
with
make
8
this work
feet,
and not
less
be
than 8 feet beam.
right. Well, not be violative, and it sounds like if you had a decent boat slip.
Are there any other alternatives?
I
Because
have
don't
one.
want to
I have
bank on
one.
just one
I have
idea.
one alternative that might work. Is what about a stick mooring?
on the end of the yeah.
Well, can
And
we extend
honestly,
out?
yes, no, a stick mooring. A stick mooring would honestly be better for the vessel.
I mean, I don't want to.
What's a stick mooring? What are you talking about? A
Pole.
mooring ball?
Mooring pole.
What if you?
Where?
And seaward of the end of the dock
Seaward of the end of the dock, and that way you could.
with a pulley.
Hold on a second. James wants to speak.
What if you move the float and the ramp over in front and revise the easement? If you move the float and ramp over here, revise the easement to allow.
So relocate the ramp and float to a conforming location.
And then you would have to revise the easement, obviously, for the neighbor.
One of the
That way
issues
it's
with that,
satisfied.
yeah, so that's a good idea. But when I spoke with him previously, I think we're trying to figure out how we can both have a dock.
Yeah.
He's not really interested. I've owned this property for 12 years and 12 years before that down the road. But I always just used the driveway because I had 4 kids and didn't really think about a boat. And now my wife and I would like to do it. And so Lee is a new buyer, so we're cooperating in this. But when I suggested to him that I move the easement, he didn't want to do that.
That would be a big problem.
I'm saying a stick mooring because then, depending on what the wind direction is, you can pull the boat up on either side to get on, but it also keeps it off
The dock.
a dock and keeps it from getting the shit kicked out of it. Which this
How far off would you put the pole?
it depends on what size boat it is.
Okay. But just can we expand the top of the pier now, because it's only like 2 feet wide?
I think we need to really study this
Well,
instead
he's
of
got a
just shoot from
6
the hip
foot right
over
of way,
here.
Yeah,
correct?
no,
Land
that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing now. We're kind of
we'll do
talking
some
out
more.
loud and trying to give this guy, and then we haven't really agreed to anything. I'm just spitballing a little bit, but I mean, that would give you a boat access whereby you could easily get the boat back to the dock.
On a pulley, yeah.
On a
just-
pulley,
yeah.
and utilize it. I mean, I don't know why more people don't utilize stick moorings myself, because it's really nice on vessels. But as far as the width of that pier, that would have to go in discussion, correct? Because we always have this like 10-foot rule, but he's not really necessarily trying to impede that.
I think the 10-foot rule was specifically made for navigation, and it would interfere with the property owner on one side or the other, and that's, but we have a 10-foot, and then the Army Corps has a 15-foot. So just be aware that if you're going to go through all the permitting agencies, our 10-foot we hold, and then if you go through the Army Corps, they're going to have a different, actually a more rigid standard than what we would use.
Yeah, where are you at on other regulatory authorities with this thing?
Haven't gotten any feedback from Army Corps yet. We got questions from DOS, which were similar to what you guys are talking about, and nothing from the DEC.
Don't,
did we get something? Yeah, we did get something.
We did. They said, see if you can cooperate with your neighbor.
Yeah, right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So your
Yeah,
idea
kind of a
makes
little
sense.
pickle.
Yeah,
Your idea
Yeah.
makes sense.
you know, I think a conversation with a neighbor and see what he's willing to engage in with you and everything
Yeah.
would be more productive for the next meeting here then.
Yeah.
Because you're coming in with here we're spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
If he's giving you a hard yes or a hard no, then you can walk in with a little bit of assurance that
Right. Right. The only thing that he seems to be not wanting to do is kind of move the easement. You know, that sort of.
that's
Yeah.
going to be problematic because that's going to affect the walkway that you have.
But then he, well, I mean, then he may lose the dock. If
Yeah.
I wind up getting aggressive, then, you know,
Well,
then
That's,
all of a
that's
sudden.
why
right.
you're trying to put
Yeah.
two structures with one right of ownership.
Yeah.
Right,
You got to play. Everybody's got to play ball
Did-
together.
right.
Aram, is this a permitted structure as we're talking? So right now, you would be allowed to wharf out, using a mooring.
Yes.
You could drop a mooring out there.
Yeah, I think so.
No, you
Oh, I could,
100%.
okay.
You
Yeah,
would.
okay.
We would give you a permit, and it wouldn't matter if it was in front of your neighbor or in front of the easement.
Mooring.
Because we own the underwater land. But we're trying to make it more, how would you say, palatable to your neighbor, so he knows exactly what he's going to look at and what you're allowed. So, being that said, a mooring stake would be just in substituting for a mooring ball, putting it in the ground with a pulley on it, and depending on, like Trustee Marin said, whatever wind direction, you could pull it back to the dock, and then you could get on it and then just go. So I mean, and
I'm
it
just
was,
looking for a good picture of what you're talking about, so I can
Stick
show it.
mooring, French mooring.
French
Well,
mooring?
So they utilize
Woolly
they
pond.
utilize a mooring ball instead of a mooring stick.
Right.
Where's the last stick
Woolly-
moorings at Woolly Pond? Has
Woolly
stick
Pond.
moorings still.
And Justice, when you say pull it back to your dock, what dock are you referring to?
the dock that's currently there.
The one that is on his property.
No, the one that's on your right of way.
Oh, it's on my right of way.
Yeah.
Kind of like we have at Baycrest
I see.
Avenue with the pulleys.
Yeah.
Those pilings at Baycrest with the pulleys on them.
We have in Baycrest. Yeah.
Woolly Pond. If you go down, if you go into the shores, and then you go along the wetlands there on the pond side,
Right.
there's stick moorings there.
Okay.
You can see what a stick mooring is. Obviously, here you'd substantiate it more and have a better piling and a better pulley, but it's doable. I don't know what boat you want.
Yeah.
I recommend something not big.
We haven't had a boat forever, and so
Yeah.
we're not boating people, but I would like to have a boat in retirement just to scoot
Yeah.
around in,
But
but
I
nothing
recommend
big.
something small,
Yeah.
20 foot.
Yeah, because
75
Woolly
feet?
Pond and also Mill Creek
With a
had 'em,
captain?
and also
Where
Noyer.
in Woolly Pond are you talking about?
On the northwest corner.
Northwest
Yeah.
corner.
That's the channel the Lee goes out to the east.
Yeah, off of East Beach Drive.
Yeah. No, west.
And so the idea is that it would be out in the water and a pulley would pull it in onto the existing dock that's there.
Right.
So all you're paying for is putting a stick out.
Yeah.
We just,
I mean,
we just
I don't
issued,
mind paying for whatever we
Yeah.
have to do. I just don't want to.
Aaron, we just,
Well,
we just issued 7 of
Still
them
wants to do all
in
this.
North Sea Harbor.
What?
Still wants to do all this.
Right,
Dude,
James?
that's fine.
Yes.
Like, what do we care? I don't
Yeah,
care
no,
about
so we
that.
still gotta do all this, and then instead of this.
I would just tell them to amend the permit to change pre-existing
Yeah.
for our standards, and then, because we can't go out.
No,
It's within 10 foot of,
that's putting more structure on.
Yeah.
Off you go.
And the way that he's building his house, is the dock on the easement?
Yes. The dock would be on the easement.
But how is he doing that? Like, I don't even understand.
What do
Again,
you-
we're
what do you
going to
mean?
be friendly, but how can you build something on an easement?
No, he's not building on the easement.
Oh.
He's
The
off.
easement's
He still
free.
owns the land.
He's
Yeah.
off,
Just
he's
has
off the
easement.
easement anyway.
Okay.
Fee title, right?
So we would just pull the boat
His
up on.
estate's burdened.
Yeah,
by
you
the
pull the
easement.
boat up onto your pier there and
It's his
step
property.
on and go.
The other
Yeah.
option too, like I use a mooring anchor. You just go out a little farther, and you just have 200-pound mushroom anchor, and then chain, and then a ball at the top, and then some leads. Then you just hook that onto your boat, and then I use a little paddle board. I just put the paddle board in the water, paddle over to the boat, unhook it, get on it, bring it back to the dock.
But this, what we're talking about is actually, what Chip's talking about is actually different.
It's a tether line.
It's a tether line. It's like a clothesline. Think of it that way. It's
Yeah.
a clothesline that you pull the boat to the
And you can
physical
do
dock.
that with a mooring
and then
ball, or you
step.
could do that with a stick. We used to call them stick moorings, because basically back in the day, before everyone had a trailer and was trailering their boat, they used an old pound trap pole, put it out there, used a flats boat, pulled it out, put their 25 horsepower that was in the truck because they didn't want anybody to steal it, threw it on the boat, and went to work.
Yeah.
When a hurricane came, they took the motor off, pulled the plug, sunk the boat for the hurricane,
Huh.
so it wouldn't get beat up. And then after the hurricane went by, they put the plug back in, bailed out the boat, put the motor on, and went to work. So I mean, but that's before trailers.
Got it.
Trailers sound a lot easier to me.
I don't know.
So the axle
No,
direction, you're going down
yeah,
the
no
highway.
bearings, no hubs, no springs, no
Yeah.
no lights, no
At
nothing.
the end of Baycrest Road, we have those pilings with the pulleys on there.
Nobody uses them.
I know.
Well, I think
Great.
one time I saw someone trying to use it, and then they got told not to.
Who told them not to?
This was before I was here.
Somebody of any authority told them
Stick
not to?
I
moorings
think there
are
was
rough.
I remember seeing it in the paper too. I think constables.
Oh,
Didn't have a permit, maybe?
I think that's what it was. I think their permit was for Eastport.
yeah. So if you go down there, you can take a look at it at Baycrest. You'll see the apparatus. It's there.
And we'll do two things.
Who's
We're
this?
gonna do three things. Do you have any other ideas?
No.
You can think about it.
We're gonna talk to the neighbor, obviously. We're gonna investigate these ideas that you've suggested, and then and we're gonna try to think up something else.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Keep going. Because you still got to get everybody else to weigh in also. So
But
you
we
got
would
time.
permit what you want to replace, like what's existing, like
Yeah.
that would be, we'd probably accept that as long as it's up to through flow or whatever it's gotta be, not treated and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, the underlying structure is fine there. We just need to expand the platform so you can walk. Because, I mean, I can walk, but it's 2 feet wide. It's not quite a balance beam, but
No, yeah.
Seemed like
that's-
Can't do the balance beam anymore.
So how would you do that? Because it looks like there's pilings on either side.
yeah,
Every
we
time
haven't
you're-
figured exactly how we're gonna do that
Well, you can put the whaler on the other side.
on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I'll ask him about the easement again. It's a good idea.
That's
that's the
whatever.
home run.
Yeah, but
That's
it,
what I
it
thought when I
sounded
was
like
down there too,
Yeah.
like coming over.
Sounds
and, you know,
so good.
Yeah.
but it sounds like you're not comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with it.
He's not comfortable with it,
Yeah.
right? So
if you had like a
that's
floating
a
dock, you guys
non-starter.
could
if
go
that's
on
the case.
either side of.
Right.
I can understand
Right.
that.
It's
Yeah.
friggin' brilliant.
Right.
And you're gonna want to wash the boat too. So
Yeah.
Who does that?
I do.
My daughter,
You know what I see? There you go.
not me, I'm bad. I also have on here something to advance plans, the Arvidas.
You have stamped.
Yeah, everything's been submitted. Is that okay?
That's generally for us to just make sure that you have submitted stamped
Everything
plans
is
for it to
in
move.
order.
So you you don't, you know, you're welcome to stick around, but as long as you've submitted them and they match what we all agreed upon, then
Yeah, they're good.
They're good.
Alright.
Okay.
you're fine.
Well, thanks for the discussion and the ideas, and we will pursue the avenues we discussed.
That's terrific.
you.
All
Have a
right,
great
take
day.
care, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, so moving right along. You have 1311 Flying Point Road. This is yours. With Surfside Environmental.
See this. Drawings in here. Do you have it in here?
Chip, is this yours?
Surfside Environmental, what do we,
Yeah. Do you have the?
yeah.
Thomas H. Walker,
Yeah, the
1311
file.
Flying Point Road.
Didn't we just go over that? We just went over that with him.
This is for stamp.
Stamp plan review.
No, it's with Daphne Vaughn, right?
Yes.
Alright, I lost where are we?
1311 Flying Point Road, Thomas H. Walker. We're doing a stamp plan review.
Yeah, stamp plans. Did we get them?
Just give me it right here. There's a survey that's stamped, but it doesn't have.
Are they in your files? Do we have a file by chance? Nope, it's not there.
Wait, yeah, no, we don't have it with us here.
So you got the survey stamp, but not the.
Where's the plans?
Said you definitely received them. So she said they're just not uploaded on
They're not-
Cover.
They're not in the system yet?
They're not on the computer, but you have the hard copies.
Did you review
Yeah.
that? Were the hard copies reviewed to match the? All right, what do you want to do?
Send it.
Let's move
If
it
there's, I would say advance it. If there is issues, then we'll bring
Pull
it
it back
up
before
bring
resolution.
it up.
at the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. Joe McLaughlin,
Yes.
you have 3 within consultants.
11 Helms Lane.
Good.
13 Rotterdam.
We're
You
good?
with Helms?
Vance.
This is the one they had to change it from 4 foot to 5 foot and all
Yep.
that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Millstone.
Well, Riverdale.
Reaver Dam,
Dam.
15 Reaver
Shinnecock
Dam,
Hills.
Fort Pond. This is what we discussed because of the
Yeah.
deeper waters
Yeah,
closer.
that's right. Yeah.
All good.
Yep.
Yep.
Good. Millstone.
This is the one with the erosion problem, right?
Yep. It is.
Well, it was a good project, I know.
Stamped. Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. And we got Trustee Parsons.
Yeah, 11 Pine Tree
We just-
Lane.
We just did that one.
You did that?
Aaron was up.
Yeah, Aaron was here.
West Hampton. All set?
Yeah, we did that one. Aaron was here.
Yeah.
So now we've got waterfowl hunting locations permits for determination. I have a bunch of them. See, Shakira's here. How are you today?
Morning.
It's a serious folder you have there.
I see that nicely organized. to be on candid camera today.
So the first one.
Am I dating myself now?
Yeah, really.
For Scott, so is John Lindell, he's looking to transfer to Mark Reichman,
Okay.
and,
Is Mark Reichman as a co on the original?
no,
These have all been reviewed and okayed by our
by the Bay
Bay
Constables,
Constables.
yes, and so they were
They've already
okay
said
with.
they were-
Yeah, Mr.
Wait, where
Rickman
are
looks,
we at with this? Just so I have clarification, I was under the understanding that unless you're a co-applicant, it goes back onto the list. Like you don't have the right to transfer your permit directly to somebody unless they're a co-applicant on the permit, on the blind.
That's a council question.
Joe?
Determination.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah,
section pretty
with
much has two
council.
criteria, one approved by the Bay Constables, and then two technically by resolution of the Board of Trustees. I don't think it sets forth any, we could amend it so it does, but,
Yeah, I don't want to get ourselves in a pickle. You got 100-person waiting list here, and then all of a sudden we're gonna dictate who can transfer, who can't transfer.
My recollection is you guys talked about it a few times, putting that rule into effect, but never.
They never got resolved.
Did, yeah.
So it's still in, it's never
Yeah,
listed
so as of
discussion
right now,
phase.
people can just transfer.
Joe, are you up to speed
And
on this? Are you
bypass the
listening
wait
to
list.
us?
Never-
Listening and trying to get a copy of the blue book. What's the
Section
section?
38.
Here's the deal.
38?
Sound like it never left the discussion phase
Yeah.
to resolution, so we'd have to,
So when we were under, I mean, and I haven't been here quite as long as Scott. I was under the assumption that the only way that you could transfer a blind to somebody else is if you're co-applicants.
I mean,
i.e.
co-permittee or?
Yeah,
Co-permittees.
co-permittee, and then so let's say, Eddie's long in the tooth and he says, Chip, I don't wanna hunt anymore, but you're co-applicant with me on the blind. I'm gonna flip it over.
Yeah.
That was my recollection
That
of
was
the
my
of the
recollection
discussions
of
we
what we
had years
discussed,
ago.
yeah.
You guys talked about it time and time again, never went through with the change.
right, I think
Okay,
it
I'm
got
saying,
beat
but
around.
That was the thrust of the discussions and
Yeah.
the
Discussions.
rationale
Because we
for
have a-
allowing co-permittees.
Because we have 100-person waiting list here.
Right.
And then now the hunters are basically dictating who they want to transfer the blind to.
That's right.
so we would need a public hearing.
Correct.
In order for us to pass legislation, in order for
Change the
a hunter would have to have a co-permittee, which he would then delegate giving his blind to that co-permittee but right now, there's no,
Well, it's gonna
Reg-
circumvent the wait list.
What the,
But-
This is circumventing the wait list.
That's
I'm
correct.
just saying, if we enshrine it in there, it will circumvent it. It's de facto doing it right now, the way they're doing it. And my recollection of the discussions, again, we didn't change the blue book, but the rationale behind the co-permittees was to help the guy grasp the blind, maintenance, and to put somebody there so that it didn't become a derelict.
Right, helped
Yeah.
along.
but
the
if the co-permittee,
you bring in.
Well, you bring it in new blood.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
all of a
and
sudden
that was-
I've got
and that
free
was
spreads and
provided.
boost decoys that I don't have to leave in my yard.
Right, everybody's working together, bringing the heat.
in this instant, if you go from,
random person to do it with them, I mean.
This is like a direct transfer
I can't work
Yeah.
with
and,
you.
and bypassing the 100-person wait list.
That's
well,
correct.
if you look at the way this one is, these two permits are written, permit number 76, John Lindahl,
John Lindahl.
to Lindahl to Mark Rickman, and then 70 is Mark Rickman relinquishing and returning it to the wait list. So basically,
He's just upgrading his spot.
he's yes.
Yeah.
So this
One's legit.
this
Yeah.
one we're getting
Something back to the
Correct.
wait list.
Yeah.
But to your point, you're correct. This has been discussed, it just never,
We just got to nail it down because
it never got nailed down. It never made it to resolution because for whatever reason,
Well,
it didn't get there.
if you'll recall, the last time you held a public meeting about waterfowl hunting, it took how many hours? And
Yeah, it was.
it was a circus at times.
Well, we never stay on target. We always go in with a discussion point, and then we wander off the trail here or there.
Yeah.
And then we close the hearing, and we never really, basically adopt what was
Yeah.
Waterfowl hunting is a hot
the
button.
concern.
That's why it never got adopted.
Well,
It's a hot
and-
button, but we're also in charge of
Yes.
being like right.
Right, so, no,
We got to nail it down.
Well,
we
then,
can't
well,
walk-
pick up
yeah.
the ball.
You've got to nail it down, but you've got to have the resolve to nail it down.
Pick up the ball.
But
The other thing
as
is,
of right now, we don't have the ability to nail it down.
Right.
Right, so-
We need
So-
this. If we're going to do a major overhaul of waterfowl, which we've talked about before, we
Yeah.
have to have the resolve to then make the resolution,
Yeah.
hold the hearing, and amend the blue book to do it.
Well,
But my
the-
question is, if the co-permittee becomes a primary, can he or she then find some random person to be a co-permittee?
You
Yeah.
can, yeah, that's the
And
way
there's
it's.
nothing better than more than one guy tied to a blind
I
because
get
somebody
that.
gets hurt, somebody gets
Si-
sick,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
somebody
you got a guy here that's looking
gets
for an
married,
exemption
somebody
because
has
of
a
surgery.
baby.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
A co-permittee would prevent the thing from becoming a derelict.
Yeah, I know.
No,
it's great.
what I'm saying,
So-
but that person can then find their friend to help. So then we don't control the process then. If the co-permittee becomes a primary, then we don't know who the
Well, but
secondary becomes.
we don't do background checks on people. If the person is a resident, he's entitled to have a duck blind.
well, the background check should be to the extent that they're resident.
Right,
Well, that's what I mean, but I mean-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make sure they're running in Smithtown or Southhold is not,
Yeah, no, it's.
So, but the thing is, it's like this board, you wrestle with so many
Yeah.
problems. There's only so many hours.
Well,
in
I
a
mean, we
day.
got the MOA out of the way, and that was taking up a lot of our
Oh.
time. And now we got to prioritize what stuff we
Yeah.
really want to tick off the list.
Yeah.
Our staff is stretched thin.
Run with it.
This is an issue that could be kind of like cleaned up without having to tie our environmental division and dock division to threads.
I've sat through a few duck hunting
Yeah.
forums, and it's a lot of questions and a lot of answers aren't generated. So 3 new board members. If we want to take this to task, we should sit down with Joe and with the staff and see what we want to pick off as
Kind of
far
like
as
what you and I did with the shellfishing.
clean it up.
Clean it up. Yeah.
But right now
We've got this in our lap, and we're gonna have to try and kind of tiptoe our way through it because it's already up here. Let's bang it out and clean it up post hunting season, and everyone's happy.
And
Got
again,
it.
as I reiterate, the rationale for putting the co-permittees on it, they were good reasons, and it looks like it's working for us.
We could pull out the minutes of some of the prior discussions as well, couldn't we?
We can,
And kind of
sure.
see the direction, and you learn from that institutional. Yeah, I would do that. That way you could kind of see from those meetings what.
And,
I can take care of that part, Shakira.
and quite a few of these
Between
blind
Stephanie
location.
and I, we can find a
We
lot
can
of
do
this.
it.
Because I remember sitting through some of the discussions, so.
We're working on a lot of different things
I,
right now.
And a
I
lot-
could have a calendar in my mind and go back to the right year and everything.
And a few of these blinds are well, historically, quite a few more generational blinds where the grandfather to the father to the son to the
Yeah.
grandson.
Yeah.
And, and I've always been a big proponent of that,
Yeah.
So we got to take,
That's one of the strengths of the
but-
program,
yeah,
is that
right.
generational
It is.
continuity.
yeah.
But Chip makes
Good point.
No,
Yeah,
it's true
so-
because
so-
it makes it because you have a wait list and the trustees are managing that wait list. They should. It shouldn't
Well,
be a circumvention.
And if there is a
So-
wait list and someone wants a co-permittee, they can pull that person off the wait list. And that was the whole thing with
Correct. That's what the
Yeah.
whole thing was
So-
to
That
bring
would
the
knock
youth
down,
in.
That would knock down the wait list.
yes.
See, that was the whole concept of that. Is that you'll bring somebody in, make them a
farm
co-permittee.
team.
They'll help you when you're
Yeah.
whatever
We
feeling, and
just
then
need to memorialize it in the blue book.
right.
All
So
right.
that's what the whole
Alright,
theory
so
was.
I'm fine with advancing 76 and 70 because we're gaining another blind and somebody's doing an upgrade. So I'm fine with those two.
Right, so yeah, I'm fine with them too. Let's talk about 68.
Just real quick, so just something that popped in my head. Would a co-permittee, would there be an additional permit fee, or would they share in the original?
One permit.
They share.
Sure.
There was even discussions about who was primary and who was secondary. We got deep into discussions on this because, and we had some issues.
Weeds on it.
Right, and we've had
That's what I
some
said.
issues that
Yeah.
have popped
And
up
then
on
we
us.
never came to a resolution.
That's why I'm saying you got to go back to those discussions and
I'll
figure
look up
out.
the minutes and see what the record says on it.
That's what you got to do.
And that was during an election cycle, so there was some a lot of things
I
going on.
can I tell you, it's gone around and around. It's a complex issue. It's a spirited issue. There's valid points at every single juncture.
But I'll be honest, it's really nice having the Marine Patrol such advocates for the waterfowling.
It is.
That's really helpful for everybody, for the hunters and us.
Yeah.
It's a good kind of pulse on the whole. Like, those guys are pretty involved. They do hunter safety courses. They have a good pulse on who's out there, who's cutting up, who's doing right.
It's a case of oversight and enforcement operating in the right way for.
If you and to underscore what you said, that was like what you just said was the genesis of why we purchased the 21 silver ships and we got an aluminum vessel, because at that
Shallow
time
water.
they wanted them to be able to get into a shallow water area. We wanted inspections done on these things, and we got the aluminum boat because if they had to get up to the thing and whatever, it was a sturdy boat. And that's why the trustees went and spent money, obviously for public safety, but because they were handling that function, if they had to impound something or take it, we wanted them to have a good aluminum sturdy vessel to do that with. So the board, historically has recognized and obviously memorialized the relationship between the Bay Constables and the board for these purposes.
It's a clear case of the Marine Patrol doing for the trustees what they traditionally have done and do a good job on it.
Right, because you want to preserve the tradition and heritage that's gone on for centuries here in the town, and like times have changed. You have a lot of people, they don't understand that. They don't want to hear the gunshots. They don't want to look at the duck blinds. But this is heritage.
Smoked goose breast tastes good.
Right,
So
this
let's
is
keep it
tradition
up.
in our town, and so you got to have the education, the safety course, because when you want the new people coming in to do that, you want follow all the rules, learn safety. It's been a good synergy, and the synergy needs to be memorialized and move forward. So, all right, so let's go
do
to.
we have a number 68? Do we have any has the Marine Patrol written anything for us on this, or is this just they've accepted it and?
It says all attached, so this is for the ones that are here for today, so it says all attached look good on their end as far as they could see between the transfers, adding, removing, co-permittees or transfers. The only thing they would ask is that if anyone on the wait list, that they could be removed once attached applications are approved by the trustee board.
That would be one of the
So
things we'll have.
is Thomas McGrath
Thomas McGrath is on the wait list.
on the
He's
wait
gotta
list?
come
So
off.
that's okay.
So then you got to follow the instructions.
Yeah. So
But-
basically,
Yeah, this is still hard because where is Thomas McGrath on the wait list? Is he number 58 or is he number? I don't. This is.
And there's supposed to be no monetary
This is-
exchanges.
This is
Well, there aren't
ridiculous.
supposed to be any.
Yeah. That's like I said. We got.
Same with pound traps. There's not going to be what
Well,
it's supposed to be, but yeah.
We're gonna have to revamp this. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Are you sure he's on the wait list? I don't see.
Yeah, he said, I saw him, he was there on the wait list.
God bless.
Bless you.
All right, so we're not going to revamp this before these.
No, we
So let's
can't.
get through
Yeah.
these, and
All right,
then
No, I understand.
and then we'll go to the next phase. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this one was approved by the Bay Council. They've looked at it. You've seen them on the wait list. Is
So
anybody
advance it.
objecting to 68?
No.
No. So we're going to advance that. So then let's go to Christian Miller transferring to Justin Sherring, number 248.
And you've checked that nobody has more than 2 after this whole
No one
transfer
has
shit?
more than 2.
Yeah, okay.
See, that's the other thing. The constables have their eyes on it. You have your eyes on it. We have ours on it, obviously.
Yeah.
Justin's on the wait list.
Justin is on the wait list, and he wrote a letter. Christian Miller, the owner of the spot 248, recently passed away, and they wanted to pass his blind to his cousin, and that's Justin Shurig.
Yeah. This is another one of these where it's a generational.
Legacy, yeah.
Yes.
It's a legacy.
Yeah.
So
All right. So is anybody objecting to that?
No, that's fine.
no, I'm good with that.
And now, obviously, you got William Hutchison, an exception due to no hunt, due to surgery. I have no problem with that, and I appreciate them being
Notifying
straight up front, notifying us. That's fine, so I would advance that.
So does it mean he's losing his site or just not
No.
putting his
He's not
line in
able
this
to
year?
put his.
This
Right,
is,
so he's-
it's gonna be
Dormant.
He's
Yeah.
having
Right,
a-
so we understand that. It's not like we're
Yeah.
He didn't
wanting to
abandon
re-
the site.
So, and we don't have to have him come in here and
No, we don't.
explain
He's-
so-
again in the spring.
He
and say,
did write a
he
letter.
wrote a
saying
letter.
Is this for this year or for last year?
For this
This
year.
year.
This hunt
So
is
he's
year.
not gonna
He
hunt it.
had shoulder surgery on October 31st.
Okay.
See, normally what would happen is we're now chasing, like we're going to
Yeah.
revoke you, and then then the letters are coming.
This
So
is
we're
smart. He preemptively struck.
right.
Yeah.
So he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So I have no objection.
Well,
Advance it.
but this is where, when you have a co-permittee on your blind,
Yeah.
that you
That's the
can
beauty of
share
it.
using the resource and the prep work which comes with it, which is extensive.
Correct. Right, it's a lot of work.
Especially if your blinds are rotten.
So now the next one is a recommended denial. It was a request for a new proposed location, and they're saying that there's no. Is there a written commentary on this?
So that's for Justin.
Glenn Just.
So it says, after reviewing the attached application for the new waterfowl location, it has been determined that we would not approve this location based on the information received and due to the proximity of the registered blind number 81 belonging to the property owner at 32 Bay Road. If the blind is on his property, they are approximately 900 feet adjacent to each other, which is not reasonable. If the blind is on the pen, as depicted in his permit, they are approximately 620 feet from each other, and registered blind number 81 is somewhat behind the northeast of proposed new location. If in the Effie's hole, then it is approximately 1,100 feet from behind new proposed location, and they would be shooting over the top of new location. All locations described are within the owner's property and is registered to him. Registered blind spots do move around a little within reason and without creating a dangerous situation. However, adding an additional blind in an area which is in close proximity of a pre-existing blind is potentially in front of a pre-existing blind leaves too much room for error. The trustee board makes the final approval, denial, determination on any new waterfowl location.
I don't want to leave any room for error when it comes to public safety.
No, and these guys are
Not the
on
things
it.
that go boom.
No.
Yeah, these guys are on it.
All right, so let's
deny it.
let's deny that. Yeah, that's too much liability there.
Robert King. Ed.
That's you, Edward.
Yes.
He wants to transfer to Joshua Barnes.
Is Joshua on the wait list, or
Yes.
Yes.
so? Again, we will be pulling someone off the wait list, which is what we tried to do. So I'm good with it.
Okay.
Number 157, Ray Sockhaven, removal of committees, removal of co-permittee. Timothy Squires.
Yes, he just wants to remove his co-permittee.
He doesn't want to add. He doesn't want to add one.
Just to remove.
To remove it.
You good?
Yeah. 237. Chad. Woodruff.
Zubik.
Transfer. Timothy. Body.
Chad wants to transfer to Timothy.
Yes. Is Tim on the waiting list? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Is that approved?
I'm good
Yeah,
with it.
approved.
Good with it.
202. Peter. Sonati. Additional additional permittee. Christian.
Christopherson? CC.
Yeah. I mean, all these are co-permittee additions. including James, once in.
Conflict of interest form, James.
Oh,
I'd approve all three of those, because they're just adding more people to help grass the blind, take care
so you
of
can
it.
have multiple
Who authorized all this time off for James?
We're allowed.
Probably the Plovers.
It's in the resolution.
Additional,
He's trading
extra
Plovers
7
overtime
weeks
for
of
duck time.
vacation.
well, there's a permittee and a co-permittee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hunt all
So
season.
these are all adding co-permittees, the following three.
Yeah.
Which I'm all in favor of all of those.
Okay, fine.
Trustee stuff.
Well, that way if someone
Parsons.
untimely death or sickness,
Yes.
the
So
line
also,
is hunted
just
and
makes more
maintained.
people accountable to the situation. If somebody flakes out or gets
Oh, I-
married, and yeah,
I've
it
been through
happens.
this.
Gets married and the wife says, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're taking care of the kid today. But
Yeah,
the
man,
duck
and,
season. Yeah,
Mhm.
right. Go ahead, man.
Duck season.
Trustee Parsons.
Number 18, Richard Stokes, trying to add co-permittee Maroon.
Yeah, I'm fine with.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Permit 23, Donald Bennett Jr. transferred to Kevin Norton. I used to play baseball with Kevin Norton.
That's old man. No, that's young Donnie's blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the tricky one's going to be no permit number, Peter McChesney. Denial of new proposed location.
Let's read the rationale into the record, please.
After reviewing the attached application for the new waterfowl location, it's our recommendation that it be denied based on the following: close proximity to surrounding residences, all through offset in direction of hunting shows 500 feet surrounding residences using GIS in direction of shooting, has distances of 587 feet to 599 feet, 700 feet, so which is still too close for residential neighborhood. Property at number 12 Clutter Lane, owned by the town. Property with pond attached is number 14 Cutter, owned by Suffolk County. Additionally, Cutler Lane is private road, not sure of public access as described in application. Property shooting over is number 22 Tut Hill Lane, belonging to Tut Hill Holdings LLC, which is private and would have to access private property to retrieve downed birds, which we cannot grant permission to do so. Town property where blind proposal is listed at number 12 Cutler Lane, not Trustee Bay Bottom, not in purview of waterfowl program regulations.
James, where is this property located? Do you have a GIS of it?
I don't really know. I took a picture of, she has the proposal. I'm gonna try to bring it up, but I can't.
Sounds like a shoehorn job.
Well, just because the proximity to houses, it would be
That alone.
All right, well,
that alone.
Can we see it? Thank you.
we're denying it, so we don't have to spend a tremendous amount of
Yeah.
time on it.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start where that location is.
Well, and we had a lot of issues with. It's like the blind is sitting in our water on our bay bottom, and then it's all kind of different jurisdictional issues close to that.
All right, so is anybody objecting to denying that?
Nope.
Okay, so let's deny that. All right, so that concludes our agenda for the work session, and my suggestion is that I make a motion to adjourn this meeting and go into executive session because we have a tremendous agenda between litigation, personnel issues, et cetera, et cetera. Seconded by Marin and McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, have a nice, we'll see everybody at the general session.